Welcome to another episode of Oxygen. Tonight, we're going to cover the Alabama rapper, HoneyKomb Brazy. Let's get it. Nashawn Jones, better known as HoneyKomb Brazy, was born September 15th, 1993. And he was born in Atlanta, Georgia. But early in his years, he moved to Mobile, Alabama. And this is the city he claims and where he lives, Mobile, Alabama. Some say Brazy's violent past might have caught up to him in a tragic way. Brazy and the Alabama media outlets broke the news that his grandparents were tragically killed on February 18th. Talking to Brazy, he claimed that it was rival gangs that killed his grandparents, as he is still mourning their death. This horrible incident also sparked curiosity about who HoneyKomb Brazy is and what kind of criminal history he has. There's not much that is known about his family. He's once told social media followers he spent half a year in prison, or his father was incarcerated as well. And apparently, the COs didn't know, and they actually shared a jail cell together until Brazy was let out. It hurt him to leave his father because this was the only time that he was ever able to spend with his father. Brazy states that his grandparents, Leela and Tony Lewis, they fell victim to the gang violence that the rapper was a part of. On February 18th, their home on Dr. Thomas Avenue, which is in North Mobile, was engulfed in fire after gunshots rang, hitting an oxygen tank, causing an explosion and killing his grandparents. These actions will cause Mobile authorities to start investigating the gang violence in Mobile, Alabama. And HoneyKomb told many sources that he begged for his grandparents to move out of their house so they wouldn't get caught up in his criminal history. But it was too hard for them just to pack everything up and move because they were staples in the community and didn't want to leave their home. And all of you that know HoneyKomb Brazy, he's never been shy about his violent past. He's admitted to his fans that he was involved in gang violence back in his hometown, as he refers to his past affiliation to Alabama's Blood Gang set in Mobile, Alabama, which he states. And HoneyKomb, he's been arrested multiple times and faced charges like attempted murder, robbery, assault, and others like. He spent a lot of time in prison, including sharing a cell with his father, like we discussed. HoneyKomb, he's talked about this plenty of times as one of his stints at the St. Clair County Correction Facility in Alabama. Due to issues with his behavior, authorities transferred him to another prison because he was creating havoc in St. Clair County. At this time is when he connected with his father. As an interview states, HoneyKomb says, "They just put me in a cell with them," he said. "When I got out of lockup, I was in St. Clair County, but I kept getting into crap over there, so they ended up kicking me out. So they sent me down to West Jefferson lockup. When I got out of lockup, they put me right in a cell with my dad." Jones said his father's last name is different. That's why the COs didn't recognize it. During this time, they got closer during that time, and his father advised him to put the life of crime behind him when he gets out and focus on his rap career. HoneyKomb states, within his first week out of prison, he was shot 8 times by rival gangs and was in a coma for a while. HoneyKomb Brazy, being 5'9", about 210, 220 in stature, might have saved his life. HoneyKomb posted pictures from that time in the hospital as he celebrated surviving the shots. As you look into it, arrest records, they reveal HoneyKomb Brazy has many aliases, so to say, alleged, including Little HoneyKomb. He carried a version of his street name as his stage name in his rap career. HoneyKomb is a rising rapper that some say he's based out of Atlanta, but everybody knows he's repping Mobile, Alabama. Due to HoneyKomb's career taking off, which you know he signed with J. Prince Sr. at Rap-A-Lot Records out of Texas. With his career taking off and his grandparents being killed, Alabama authorities had a spotlight on HoneyKomb Brazy. Mobile launched a full investigation on the death of his grandparents. Tony and Leila Lewis were found deceased inside of their home on Dr. Thomas Drive in Mobile's Happy Hill community. They say there was 2 gunmen and a getaway driver. And this all came down to childhood friends turning enemies. HoneyKomb Brazy, one night, was at home while somebody beat on the door. Then they kicked the door in. They come in to rob him. At this time, HoneyKomb decided to defend himself, shooting, striking, and killing the intruder. When the dust settled, it was known that HoneyKomb knew who the intruder was, and it was one of his friends. HoneyKomb went to jail, got arrested, and was eventually let off due to self-defense. And that's where it all started. The relatives of the individual that was shot wanted payback. Even though He was found innocent of all charges. The street code had a different tune. So the brothers of the victim plotted out to get revenge on HoneyKomb. During this time, HoneyKomb was incarcerated, so they couldn't get to him. So the next thing they could do was touch somebody he loved. And that's what they did. With all that going on, this is what sparked the madness in Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, Alabama's Darren Southall, Terrence Watkins, and Jamarcus Chambers all once ran together with Brazy, become enemies. Mobile, Alabama has charged 4 people in the connection of the death of the local rapper HoneyKomb Brazy's grandparents. And again, Darren Southall, Terrence Watkins, Jamarcus Chambers, and one unnamed suspect that is not in custody yet. So what does that tell you? Somebody's talking. Somebody talked. And now it's time to sit down. 3 of the 4 have been charged with 2 counts of murder and several counts of shooting into a home. Authorities state it's believed that Southall ordered the hit on Tony and Leila's home. Southall is an accused drug kingpin in Mobile, Alabama, who reached a plea deal on November of 2021. And he is facing up to 35 years in prison for these charges. Southall reached out to his nephew, Mr. Watkins, and Chambers to fall through with the hit, which they did. Part of their downfall, they ran to social media to make a post. And this is overall what brought them down. HoneyKomb Brazy always knew it was somebody close to him that was connected. But he was locked up at the time, so they couldn't get to him. As HoneyKomb mourns the loss of his grandparents, as his release, he got out with bigger issues. Come to find out that his childhood home has been shot up 4 times, with his mother stating that she had to move out of the house due to retaliation of the gang violence trying to take her son's life. HoneyKomb Brazy linked up with Rap-A-Lot Records, J. Prince Sr., which we all know J. Prince Jr. has mob ties. Mob ties and Rap-A-Lot Records are 2 totally different record companies, but they fall under the same umbrella. HoneyKomb Brazy being signed to Rap-A-Lot had J. Prince Jr. with mob ties reach out to one of his homeboys named Finesse 2 times. During this time, Finesse 2 times was locked up. HoneyKomb reached out, set the deal up, and got Finesse 2 times on and popping. The tables have turned. Finesse 2 times gets out of jail. HoneyKomb is in jail. And 2 times decides to turn his back. And this doesn't sit well with HoneyKomb, because during the whole time, he'll tell you he's kept it real. Period. No matter what the issue is, no matter what the problems are, if he's rocking with you, he's rocking with you. Now it's come to light. Finesse 2 times and HoneyKomb Brazy are at war. Even though they're signed under the same umbrella, HoneyKomb Brazy, Rap-A-Lot Records, Finesse 2 times with mob ties. HoneyKomb's recent release, he comes out on fire, dropping album after album, and eventually linking up with Birdman. HoneyKomb gets Jay Prince and Birdman to sit down. They come together to make this money. So that's right now is where we're at. HoneyKomb Brazy is alive and he's free. He's making music. He's making noise. But there's still war in the streets. Only time will tell what will happen next. This is HoneyKomb Brazy, Mobile, Alabama's hottest rapper. Stay tuned for part 2 of HoneyKomb Brazy